Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Oh, I'm so super excited about this one. This is going to help so many people today, so I'm going to say it right now. Please share this one because we've got a 32-year veteran of Harford County Public Schools who is just retired in June. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. And if you went to Bel Air School area, you know this person. She's a legend. It's Miss Leslie Salters. Leslie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm super excited. Yeah. I don't care how long you've been retired. I think the feeling of the start of the school year is never going to go away.
Right.
So in my own way, this is my start to the school year.
You got a brand new beginning, and that's something that we're going to talk about today. But first, congratulations.
Thank you so
32 years. Like, that's huge. I only made it 16 and a half, so...
It actually went by really fast.
Doesn't it, though?
It does. It's the days are long, the years are short.
Yeah.
I think that's how it is in life.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, 32 years. You've certainly had a lot of experience working with kids. And I saw this post the other day that you put out that you were starting this new journey, this new business. And I was like, that's a phenomenal idea. Like, why hasn't anybody thought about this before? So we're going to dive into that as well. But first and foremost, day one of not going back to school. Let's rub it in a little bit. How's it feel?
I didn't feel anything all summer. It really wasn't until Monday when the teachers went back and I was swimming in the daylight. As many people who know me, most people who know me know that I swim.
Yeah.
And that I have swam in the dark for so many years at 5 a.m. So to be in the pool at 7 was kind of different. So it does feel a little bit strange. It feels a little bit refreshing, but I also miss it too. And in some ways, I think it is normal to feel like you need to find your way again.
Yeah.
My goal is really to stay connected to HCPS.
Okay.
I love HCPS and I love living in Harford County. I didn't grow up here, but living here in Bel Air in our house for over 26 years, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
And it's a small school system.
Yep.
I feel like over the years, I've just come more and more deeply rooted, especially with families. And when you're a school counselor, you have a child for 3 years.
Right.
So you don't just have them for one and then they go. You have a kid for 3 years, and a lot can happen during that time.
I was going to say, especially at the middle school level. You know, it's just that there's a big transition there from being a 5th grader to a 9th grader.
Huge.
You know?
Huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch them grow and change, and you go through journeys with families. And in many cases, you've had, as I'm sure you've seen as a teacher, you've had the older child, and then I end up having the middle child and the youngest child. You really do become part of a family. I actually have had children of former students now. And that is really
That's what'll
something.
get you when you stay for 32 years.
I am not a grandma in real life, but I do feel like one through Harford County Schools. It's a tight school system. I wish to maintain my connections with staff and friends.
Yeah.
It's been my life.
Yeah.
So retiring was on a very positive note as a way to explore what is it like to have a different kind of schedule. What is it like to have a different kind of structure to my day after all that time? And I just wanted to explore some other things that I could do and have a little more flexibility. So I'm really looking forward to what it's going to bring.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's cool to have to now answer to you versus, you know, whether it's a principal or a supervisor or you know, other teachers or, you know, like, you're going to be working for you now.
Right.
You know, and I just interviewed Brenda Tackett, who's going to be the episode before you. She was a math teacher at Bel Air High School, and she went out on her own to do a travel advisory business. And the entrepreneurial journey is just so much different. but it's really rewarding. So,
Right. It's almost the opposite of teaching,
Yeah.
and that makes it really exciting, little bit scary. You take something that you take something you feel comfortable with, you take your passion, in my case, middle school children,
Yeah, yeah.
and you turn it into something, that's how I counsel kids on careers. And isn't that the epicenter of what I tell them? Find something you love,
Yeah.
find something you think you're good at, and then turn it into something you can do. So that's kind of how I'm starting off this new business venture.
Well, let's break it out.
Okay.
I'm seeing you're wearing some kind of coat there, a medical looking kind of coat. You have a stethoscope around you. Especially if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, got to check this out on YouTube and watch. What's going on there? What are you, some kind of doctor or something?
So I am the notebook doctor.
Okay.
And a little bit of a backstory on the notebook doctor. When I was in middle school, I know that a lot of times you look around the room and you think that everyone knows what's going on in the classroom except you. That's how I felt.
Yep.
Everybody knows how to do this except me.
Yeah.
When I would get handed a project, or I would be at my last class of the day in middle school or junior high, and I would just be piled on with work, there would be this internal panic in me.
Yeah.
My answer to that would be to go home and organize my stuff. For me, the process of organizing my materials and getting myself set, and then sitting down and making a plan and taking a notebook and writing down, what do I have to do? What am I going to do first, second, and third? And then making sure that I felt that everything was clean and as prepared as it could be for the next day, for me, was very empowering. And I think most kids do live with that secret that, wow, I think everyone else is supposed to be here except me. It's imposter syndrome.
Right.
And it begins very young. But for me, the process of organizing my stuff and sitting in my room and making this plan on paper and putting everything in its place just felt like when I got to school the next day, it gave me confidence.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, I really hope that by helping students with organization and planning out a task, that's, now we use the word executive functioning, but it really is the managing of materials and steps to complete anything at all.
Yeah.
Even the task of receiving an assignment from a teacher, noting that assignment, placing the directions in the appropriate place, getting it home, completing it, and then bringing it back successfully.
Yeah.
That is a process, and I think it's one that as we grow, we kind of take advantage of in our minds as we become adults, that this is easy. But coming into middle school, where there's a huge jump in the expectations for independence, that is a real challenge. And so that's the purpose of the Notebook Doctor. A little bit about the name and how it came to be with the jacket.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
a stethoscope. I never meant to go into education. I actually was raised in an advertising family. For those of you who've seen Mad Men, my father was one of the original 1960s Mad Men of Madison Avenue. My father worked at BBD&O, which is the agency that the show is modeled after. I was brought up on the set of TV commercials. I sat in bed at night while my father sat there with his strong-smelling magic markers and sketch paper and tracing paper, and worked with him. Somewhere in some boxes packed away, I have thank you notes from his bosses from when I was a kid. And so it was kind of my dream to go into advertising. My father was an artist, so he was coming from an art background from Syracuse, but I always loved to write, and I thought I was a pretty good writer. So my dream was really to become, a copywriter. some of you watching may not have heard of Bewitched, but I used to idolize Darren on Bewitched. He would sit in a boardroom at his ad agency and come up with some cockamamie idea.
Yeah.
And everyone around would just stare for a second. And then suddenly the account executive would say, I like it. And that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So you have to be a little left of center to go into that business, because you have to be very open to the most creative, outrageous thing that you can think of. I did a few internships in college. I majored in writing and English, and did a couple of internships at some ad agencies, including the one that my father worked at. And a contest came around for making a kid stay in school.
Interesting.
So at the time, the dropout age was 16.
Okay.
You could drop out of school when you were 16. So by the age of 14 and 15, you had students who were really counting on their own advent calendar how fast they could get out of there. The purpose of the ad was, what can you do as a young creative copywriter to produce a print advertisement that would make a teenager stay in school? I worked with the senior copywriter at the agency. He really mentored me. And I worked with an illustrator, and we came up with an ad. To my surprise, it won a Best in Baltimore award.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So exciting to receive this coveted plate that in the advertising world of Baltimore was a really big deal.
Sure.
I was super excited and really looking forward to going into advertising. By the time a couple years went by, I had worked as a freelance copywriter, but things weren't really panning out for me the way that I had intended. The business has a rough side to it. And as I was in it for the real deal, I realized that I was looking for something a little more collaborative. Okay. And so while I was making a lot of decisions, I went back to school to get my teaching certification.
Okay.
So, while I was getting my teaching certification, doing a little bit of copywriting on the side, started thinking, you could work in education, but you don't have to abandon your creativity, and you don't have to abandon your marketing skills. What if you took those things and combined them? And I realized that I could become a teacher. I could work in a collaborative atmosphere. I could retreat into the kinder and gentler world of adolescence and deliver education my way through the gifts that I know that my father has given me and will always have for the rest of my life. That little edge that says I want to do something differently than it's been done before, and I want to find out what sells to kids.
Yeah.
So when I started teaching, that was my catch. That was my hook.
Yeah.
And that's what I tried to do as an English teacher. And when I became a school counselor, immediately wanted to do.
Yeah.
So the first year as a middle school counselor at Loch Raven Academy, I introduced the Notebook Doctor.
Yeah.
And that was bringing marketing and creative advertising into something as boring as cleaning up your notebook.
Yeah, sure.
Nothing has to be boring for middle school children.
Right.
That's why I love that age group.
Yeah.
They are young adults. They are doing some beautiful things in their writing and their self-expression, and they grow up very fast. But they are also ripe and ready for something that is a little bit silly, a little bit fun, colorful, humorous, and engaging. Yeah. And that's what I have loved about it all these years, and that's what I'm really loving about my program.
Yeah, This episode is sponsored by the Markland Advantage with Cummings & Company Realtors. When you're ready to make a move, give us a call. We'd love to help you out in the buying and selling process. If you'd like more information, simply message us or email tim@themarklandadvantage.com. Now back to the show. That's to be able to turn kids on to to the positivity. I mean, because look, I think naturally we as human beings tend to focus on negative things first before we focus on positive. But to take something that like education and help those kids, especially at that ripe age between 6th and 8th grade, to turn them on to just being a little bit more organized, which then is going to help them be more successful, in their academics.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. It's a true purpose that you can believe in.
Yes.
You're selling something that you truly do believe in.
Yeah.
It's the best product, education.
One of the best parts of your job when you were a school counselor, and now being retired, you're still going to be able to do this through your own venture, through your own business of helping kids to be organized, and not just organizing their notebook because you are the notebook doctor, but what are some of the other things that in your experience kids struggle with that you're going to be able to provide a service for as you move into this venture?
Yes. So in addition to binder cleanouts and renovations, students are really technical now and they have laptops. And for me as the notebook doctor, I had to pivot a little bit as well. I did find that students didn't have as many papers as they used to. Still have some. We will work a lot on their materials, but we'll also work on where are you studying? What does your study area look like at home? What kind of study skills are you employing when you are preparing for a test or a quiz or just for daily lessons? And I'm prepared as a counselor to also infuse study skills for students. Studying is an active, participatory event. A lot of students think, I guess I have to look at my stuff. But there's a lot more to it, and I have a bounty of suggestions and ideas for working with students on that. I'm also planning on developing individual incentive plans for students. So when I was a counselor, I had a homeroom in the morning where students came to me when they were on customized incentive plans that I had developed. And these were things that I put together with the help of the student and their family to encourage them to bring their work home, to complete it, and bring it back the next day. So as a notebook doctor now making house calls, what I will do is sit down with a family and say, what can we do to create a plan and a system so that we can start getting your student into a daily routine? Whether it's a checklist or getting their planner signed but receiving something at home for it, I want to be one of the people they can answer to. And so that is something that we will be doing. I'll also work with families on being able to craft those productive emails for teachers, realizing what teachers can do, but also knowing, coming from both sides of the equation, what their limitations are. I'm there to support that whole process in being that home support now so that I can help to reinforce whatever teachers are asking for or implementing in school. Also, developing daily routines, figuring out you're coming to school without your charged laptop. What can we do to make sure that you're putting your laptop in a place where it's charged and ready to go? Maybe for me, it would be sit the laptop in the backpack with an extension cord in the nearest plug, and you can't lose. But coming up with different ideas on how to set a routine that's really going to work. Utilizing your planner. Figuring out, I had when I was a kid, what did you have? A spiral notebook?
Yeah. Or maybe a 3-ring binder, Yeah, but man, that got so shuffled and messy.
Right. So figuring out what's going to work. Is it a portfolio? Is it a series of folders? Is it a 3-ring binder? What exactly is going to work for this particular child?
Because it could be different based on the kid, right? I mean,
100%.
How they organize has to kind of fit their personality, fit their their motivations or fit their just habits.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, if a student is having trouble just with the idea of having to open up the rings and put it in, maybe when we want to try some sort of accordion folder, and how do we want to label it, and how do we want to make it so that it really is functional
Yeah.
and easy. But these are all things that are really just as important as reading and math and history. The skill of being able to traffic work back and forth to school, how to manage your time, how to plan your work. You're going to have long-term assignments, weekly short-term assignments, nightly assignments. And this requires what that new big word is, executive functioning. It is all the skills of studentship that we want our youngsters to grow with, and things like even advocating by knowing what questions should I ask my teacher today. I didn't understand the work that I did last night. What should I do about that? And learning how to appropriately advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
And in addition to being organized and managing your time and being able to study independently, all things in middle school that we hope students come away with.
Right.
You know, especially in preparation to high school and then higher learning.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what a great niche to kind of, teach those things at that critical time period. But I feel like there's probably people that are listening to this or watching this right now. It's like, man, I could use the Notebook Doctor too.
Sure.
Because really what you're teaching these kids, it translates into so many things when you grow up,
It does.
Certainly.
Yeah. My mother always says, I spend half my life looking for things. And it sometimes feels that way in my life too. And I have to make time for myself to put things away and organize myself. I'm not a naturally organized person. I forget things and I lose things. I think I inherited that from my mom.
Is your house meticulous, though? Is everything in its own place?
I try.
Yeah.
My husband complains because I'm always finding new and better places to put things. But I think it is something that I do because I don't want the stress. Losing things is stressful.
Yeah.
For a kid, when a teacher is coming around collecting homework, the most stressful thing is flipping back and forth. I know I did it. I know I have it. Is it in my locker? Did I leave it on my table at home? Where is it? And that's extremely stressful.
Yeah. I literally taking me back right now. I'm thinking like I actually felt that.
Right.
Miss Bartholow's class.
And all eyes are on you.
All eyes are on me. And not being prepared. But then those days where like you did have it all kind of set up and laid out for you. I mean, those days everything just kind of falls into place. Everything's more smooth, less stressful, less anxiety. Even now.
And how great that feels.
Oh, yeah.
When you're asked a question or you're in a meeting and you say, yup, I've got it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tremendously empowering and confidence boosting thing. And I think it creates a positive domino effect for a kid who really starts to see that teacher smile or nod their head like, wow, excellent, you turn that in. And I think that it really is a driving force in a child's success.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Is there a story or a kid that really stands out in your head, like the super success story that you've worked with in the past?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there's been a lot, but one of the things that I started noticing while I was working as a notebook doctor was that when you're a school counselor and you're sitting in your office and you're sitting across from a child and you tell them, okay, talk, they're not always ready to talk. It feels sometimes on the spot. Sometimes it feels even a little artificial.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what happens to a conversation while you're doing something during the conversation. So somehow in the process of putting papers into piles and punching holes and cleaning up a notebook, conversations start. And a lot of the conversations started to become really substantive. And I would learn a lot about a child. They would tell me, yeah, I got in trouble because I haven't been turning in my work, and started to really learn a lot just in the course of working with them. I started hiring some notebook nurses as a notebook doctor. So the notebook doctor took on some lives of its own in the process of doing it for all of the years that I was a counselor. So I needed help at some point. I was having multiple students come up, and being only one person, it was a really great way to bring in peer helpers and expand on the peer helper program. So what I started doing was bringing some of our students who really have mastered organization, who wanted to help other students become notebook nurses, and we would have a training and they would get name tags. And that was terrific and helpful. But I did have one student in particular who started off really in need of help, both in organization and executive functioning, but also just in someone to talk to. By the time this child was in 8th grade, he became one of my notebook nurses. And he walked in one day to the cafeteria where I have my long surgery tables, and he had scrubs on. He had brought in scrubs from home.
He dialed it in, man.
And,
he went all in.
Because I had my jacket, I had a set of scrubs.
Oh my gosh.
And he walked in with his full regalia, his hat, and that had to be one of those moments in teaching where you could just ascend up to heaven right on the spot.
Right.
And it was really terrific to know. We had notebook parties at school. At Thanksgiving time, we had a notebook that was dressed up like a turkey, ready to unstuff. We had raffles and giveaways, and we really made the notebook doctor a lot of fun. Different events, does your notebook look like a snowstorm? Come, and it was a holiday festive thing. We had food, we had giveaways, school supplies, and things like that. In 2008, my supervisor suggested that perhaps it would be a good idea to see if I could get the program published. And so I pitched the idea to a publisher named Marco is the publisher.
Okay.
And they are now part of Youthlight Publishing.
Okay.
But in 2008, the program was purchased by Marco, which is Youthlight Publishing. So for any counselors out there who are interested in doing this program in their school, feel free to go on to Youthlight Publishing. This is the Notebook Doctor program so that you as an educator can implement it in your school. I'm taking the program on the road as an individual notebook doctor, but I don't have to be the only one. If you would like to put this into your school, check out Youthlight Publishing, and it's a way to spread the word. For me now, I'm making house calls, and I can't wait to get to know more families and to become part of their journey as their children venture into middle school.
And that's what's so magical about this, is that you've taken the years and years that you spent in the school system, and you're continuing this now after retirement to still help kids, to make that difference in their education. That's awesome. That's so cool. I didn't realize it. You got a published program. That's freaking awesome.
So, and I'm going to work with grades 5 through 9.
Okay.
I chose that. Obviously, I've worked with grades 6, 7, and 8 for my entire career. I think 5th grade is an important bridge.
Okay.
over to 6, where it would be a wonderful idea to start growing in those areas that I can help with. In not only, like we talked about, organization, but setting up your study area, learning how to study, learning how to budget your time, how to plan out a project. And oh, by the way, my background is in writing. So since writing is an organizational process as well, I am very open to assisting with that writing process too. Putting thoughts onto paper can be a monster for some, but I think it also pulls into that organization piece and taking your thoughts, bringing them together so that the process of getting anything on paper, whether it's an email to your teacher or an essay that you're preparing or a short, brief, constructed response, that requires thinking in a way that employs those executive skills. And so I am really prepared to help students with that as well in my Notebook Doctor venture, making house calls. So so grade 5, I don't think it's too early. And as far as grade 9, I mean, we want our students to be ready for high school, be ready for 9th grade, but it may take a little extra time. And 9th grade can be scary. It can be daunting. I know Bel Air High School and all the high schools in HCPS are doing a great job with that transition year, but I welcome the opportunity to be a part of that too and work with the folks at the high schools and the folks that I know and help become part of that connective tissue and make some seamless transitions for kids.
That's so important. I mean, this is phenomenal.
Thank you.
As you go out and you start this business, there's a backside to the business. You know, you're now your own boss. You're an entrepreneur. You know, you're really trying to grow this and make it special. What's the biggest challenge that you are facing right now as a business owner to make this successful?
Biggest challenge for me, I think, is believing that I can do this. I worked in a very conventional career. My husband is in teaching. My mother is a nurse. I think what I do get from my father is the chance taking in life.
Okay.
But I do have a lot of people around me who are very conventional personalities. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
There is nothing at all wrong with that. And it has served me so well to work for someone else. Harford County Public Schools was a source of so many resources for me. If I had trouble with technology, just call the help desk. If I needed something printed out or any kind of advice, I had all these colleagues around me. And I had HCPS. They were my parents in my employment. So to step away from that and have a business of your own is a non-conventional thing to do. I am the captain of my ship.
Yes.
I am the master of my destiny, said a famous writer. That can be scary, but it can also be exciting. One of my best friends is an entrepreneur, my best friend Tammy, and she has stood by me through years of discussing, imagine if we only started our own business someday. She has been so encouraging, and I think that this is the time, and I've got the material, and I'm so excited. So those little fears, challenges, call them, I think they're very normal. And overall, I'm really excited. But everything that you start with a new beginning, including the first day of school, comes with that sense of newness. And beginnings are always just a little bit nerve-wracking. But for the most part, I feel really good. And I can't wait to meet kids and get started.
This is awesome. Yeah, I mean, you have the passion for it, you have the energy for it, you have the experience for it, you have the tools and the material, like you said. I mean, this is going to blow up, because there's just so many kids out there at that critical age that need this kind of assistance, that is just going to just help them. I mean, this is this is a phenomenal idea. And again, when I saw it on Facebook, I was like, this is a no-brainer. We have to get Leslie in here to talk about this and really help it out. I think another thing too, just that came up on the top of my brain here, is to promote, to market what you're going to do is to utilize Facebook and Instagram Reels and do like 60-second videos of like just one of those tips and talk about it, and I think you could easily grow a following and really help a lot more people if you use the tool of social media and video to just kind of promote those concepts that you're going to be teaching in your business.
Right. Oh, it's the new kind of advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
But I have to say, Tim, that you've been an inspiration to me also, because I know that, you created this niche in real estate as well. And I see the students who come to you and the families that you help, former students and the educational community. I mean, what a special niche of your own to create out of the relationships that you built over the years as a teacher. So when I saw what you were doing, I have to honestly admit, I watched your business grow, just saw the power of community and Hartford County in particular, just the value of all the connections that you can make in a positive way in this truly wonderful place where we live.
Thank you. There's nothing better than seeing students that I taught in, say, a 9th grade PE class and now help them buy their first home, or helping their parents sell their home. They see me in a different light and capacity, and I get to see them in a different, and it's special. It is really special. So well,
it really is.
Dr. Salters, if people want to reach out to you and connect and jump on this opportunity, man, where can people connect with you?
So any child in Hartford County Public Schools, I am going to be sending my information to all school counselors in Hartford County Public Schools. I've sent my information, obviously, to my home, Beller Middle School.
Yes.
But I'm going to be sending through email and through a flyer that I'm having printed up to all of the schools in Baltimore County, including my supervisor, so that anyone who calls asking for resources to their school, my name can be given. My email and phone number, I'm pleased to give out.
Drew's going to throw it up on the screen, so
yes,
let's do it.
Please throw it up on the screen. Should I just tell it to you?
Yeah,
or,
just say it.
My phone number is 410-245-8716. And then my email is salterscove@comcast.net. So that's SALTERSCOVE, salterscove@comcast.net. And I'll be passing around, like I said, the flyers and getting my name out to as many educators and school counselors and vice principals at HCPS, so that when you call as a family and you say, I'm looking for resources, is there anyone who can help my child? There I'll be. And I'll spread the word and continue to do so.
Well, please share this. Please share this out with your friends, teacher friends. We got a lot of teacher friends.
Yes.
Our teacher friends, do us a big favor and share this out and tag anybody else that could really use this, because, man, this is going to grow like wildfire. I know it. I feel it. And I see you doing great things.
Thank you so much. Yes, the Notebook Doctor is making house calls. Since when has a doctor come into your home in the age of corporate healthcare? I guarantee one-on-one personalized service without the pressure of health insurance. And we will get notebooks everywhere, up to optimal functioning health again. And I just want to wish all of the students out there a great start to the school year. I've enjoyed working with you all, and I miss you all, especially to my former students, and I really hope to still stay in the loop and be very much a part of your education.
Well said. Beautiful. I have nothing else to say other than until next time, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you
Take care.
so much. Take
You're
care.
welcome. So did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead, click it.